Then let's talk about the senior most levels of the Congress party and where they stand with regards to national security or the national interest. These pictures, viewers, are of Sonia Gandhi. What is she doing? She's handing out the latest edition of the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize to the former chief of the UNHRC, a woman from Chile, in fact, a politician from Chile. What you perhaps don't know is that Michelle Bachelet is a staunch critic of India's human rights record. So, viewers, the Congress honors ex-UNHRC chief Michelle Bachelet with the Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. Award is given for human rights, gender justice and social reform work. Sonia draws parallel to Indira, saying both women fought oppression, barriers. The BJP has reacted and is slamming the Congress, saying that you basically have given Bachelet, who is an anti-India voice and an Islamist apologist. And it is saying that the Indian government itself has objected to her statements and her positions. That Bachelet is prejudiced against India is established by her commentary as UNHRC chief, viewers. And let me tell you, on the revocation of Article 370 and 35A, she expressed deep concern about the impact of actions by the Indian government. On the CA, she called for the review of CA, flagged human rights concerns. Because the CA doesn't even apply to Indian citizens. In 2020, on Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, she says FCRA is open to abuse and used to deter or punish NGOs. On National Register of Citizens, which is the NRC, she said it's causing anxiety in 1.9 million people, need safeguards against statelessness. And it goes on farmers' protests, need meaningful talks, can't criminalize dissent. You know, viewers, that it was the Supreme Court that took a position against these farmers and said that their occupation of public land was illegal, that their dissent was liable to be criminalized. It's the Supreme Court of India. This woman stands in direct opposition to even what the Supreme Court said, viewers. And her stance on China, for instance, and human rights violations there, according to Kamal Sibal, who has been, viewers, Foreign Secretary, is in stark opposition to her views on India. So she was sucking up to the Chinese. The irony is that the prize was given in the presence of Jagdish Tytler, a senior Delhi Congress leader who was a prime suspect in the anti-Sikh genocide of '84. Viewers, a human rights prize is given in the presence of a man who is accused of genocide. Viewers, it boggles the mind, the contradiction. Beyond that incongruity or contradiction is a larger question. Of course, Bachelet is within her rights as the chief of the UNHRC to criticize the Indian state. But when the centre has gone out of its way to oppose or censure Bachelet for her assessment as biased, unwarranted and inaccurate, what is the need to legitimize her by allegedly jaundiced view on Kashmir and Indian laws passed by a sovereign Indian parliament? Why are you legitimizing her? This I can't understand, and let's open this up. Once again, let me go straight across to Dr. Anand Ranganathan. I also have with us Mr. Muni, who is a Congress sympathizer, and there's Pradeep Bhandari. Yes, in that order. Doctor.
No, I mean, I don't know what the controversy is all about. Giving Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace and Human Rights is like Taliban giving prize for women empowerment, or Al-Falah University giving prize for medical research advances. It doesn't have any meaning whatsoever. I mean, here is a lady who brought about the emergency, for crying out loud, and people are being rewarded for, speaking on human rights, awarded with Indira Gandhi Prize. Every time I visit the Indira Gandhi International Airport, I am reminded that crimes in this country can be airbrushed, that crimes can be forgotten. Anyhow, it is ironical, is it not, that the very person who spoke against all these four issues that you mentioned, all those four were actually demanded by the Congress. This is the irony of this country. The CAA was demanded by the Congress. In fact, it passed a resolution, Rahul, demanding that Bangladeshi minorities, now obviously Bangladeshi minorities cannot be Muslims, they have to be Hindus, Christians and Jews or whatever, that they be given Indian citizenship. The 3 farm laws verbatim were in Congress election manifesto. Starting from 1, 2 and 3, the third was already enacted as a law, contract farming law in the erstwhile Congress ruled state of Punjab. And 370 was to be brought by the Congress. It was considered temporary to begin with. Each and every issue on which Congress protested and this lady protested were actually demands of the Congress. So it is rather befitting that she has been given this prize. But to be honest, this is as good as you remember during the Congress era. A lot of your contemporaries, journalists, were given Padmas. Now you know what kind of journalism they practiced. So this is the Congress. It's almost in its manifesto. It's in its DNA.
Well, Mr. Muni, Professor Muni, what are we doing here? You're legitimizing somebody that the Indian government has denoted, that the MEA on a global stage has denoted a scurrilous propagandist. And number two, a person who is so inconsistent that she doesn't call out China but singles out India. And you are giving her a platform and legitimizing her. Sir, ho kya gaya hai Congress party ko? What's gone wrong with the party?
Rahulji, first of all, I must correct you that on China, she was very vocal, and I must quote her that China's action in Xinjiang province constitute international crimes, in particular crime against humanity. So I must correct you on that. Second point, in 2017, Honorable Prime Minister Modi appreciated Chile President Michelle Bachelet commitment to human rights, her efforts to promote gender equality and women empowerment. In 2025, Kiran Rijiju said that he respects her. If she is India beta, according to you, why PM and BJP minister is praising her? And if you didn't question them for the praise, then you should not question the Congress.
Okay.
And if you say that a foreign national should not give opinion on Indian policy, then why Randhir Jaiswal, spokesperson MEA, said that India was taking opinions from US from the time Operation Sindoor commenced on 7th May till the understanding on cessation of firing and military action on 10th May. So this is my
Professor Muni, let me now read out facts to you. Bachelet was the first UN Human Rights High Commissioner to visit China since 2005. The 6-day trip included stops in Guangzhou and the Xinjiang cities of Urumqi and Kashgar. The visit was conducted under the strict COVID-19 related restrictions, with government officials accompanying her throughout. It led to accusations from human rights groups and Western governments that her access was not unfettered and that the trip was used for Chinese propaganda purposes. Am I saying this, viewers? No. These are human rights groups, the very human rights groups that she speaks for, who were criticizing her for going as a guided tourist to China's Xinjiang, where the Chinese lock up Muslims, viewers, and come away giving clean chits. Later, viewers, she quickly reverses her stand, realizing the big faux pas she commits. This is the person we are talking about. Secondly, viewers, no, 1 second, sir, I'm not. Listen, the initial statement. Okay. The initial statement and then the flip, viewers. I can even read that out. During and immediately after a visit, Bachelet was seen as cautious. She praised China's achievement in poverty alleviation and women's rights legislation and noted its important role in global challenges like climate change. Climate change, viewers, can you believe it? She emphasized that her visit was for dialogue and engagement, not an investigation.
Wow.
Not an investigation. An aim to build confidence and pave way for future interactions. Confidence with what, viewers? Butchers of Muslims. You see, viewers, this is the problem with those that speak up for the Congress. You heard the last spokesperson lying away till he was caught, red-faced, then doing all sorts of... You see, viewers, half the story is told. Now, I want you to... Now, let's bring in Pradeep Bhandari. Pradeep Bhandari, I want to ask you a question. And this is very fundamental. The question is this: don't people have a right to criticize India? And so what if the Congress rewards them for criticizing India? But it's free speech. open society, I don't mean it as a pun, but I'm just saying free speech. And therefore, what's the big deal?
Well, Rahul, the big deal is that the Congress party is appropriating the lady in her personal capacity for giving statements and reflecting a position which weakens India's unity and India's integrity. Please note that when the government of the Prime Minister speaks about the lady, it was in her capacity of a United Nations representative. When she expressed her viewpoint against India's position on Jammu and Kashmir, where she spoke about how India is creating atrocities in Jammu and Kashmir as per her, we openly expressed our dissent. So my argument here is the following. Why is it that the Congress party has rewarded her post her entire tenure? Because the Congress believes in what she says. And this is just not limited to her. Please look at the gentleman who was along with Sonia Gandhi on the dais. It was Shiv Shankar Menon, who was the National Security Advisor at the time of the UPA, which means when more than 8,200 terror incidents took place in Jammu and Kashmir under the Congress party in a span of 10 years, with this gentleman also being the National Security Advisor for a significant amount of time. Why was Jammu and Kashmir not peaceful? Because Sonia Gandhi's government believes in the ideas and the thoughts of Bachelet, where she thinks that India was committing atrocities on the people of Jammu and Kashmir, not that India doing what is right against the terrorists. Point number two. Who is Binayak Sen, a man who is seditious? He was part of Sonia Gandhi's National Advisory Council. Who is Harsh Mandar, a man who is pro-Naxal and also anti-CA, was part of Sonia Gandhi's National Advisory Council. So why is it that all the individuals who drove thinking during the time of the UPA or are the core members of Sonia Gandhi's council, all of them do not believe in an idea of a strong India? Either they are Naxal sympathizers, either they believe that India is not, India is committing atrocities in Jammu and Kashmir, either they wanted talks with terrorists like Yasin Malik. All of this points towards one thing, that the Congress today is a political fringe. It's no longer a mainstream. It's a Muslim League Maowadi Congress. That is my charge.
Muslim
The
League
Congress has not rewarded
Maowadi
her
Congress.
in her official capacity. The Congress has rewarded her in an individual capacity, reflecting the endorsement of her viewpoint.
Doctor, let me bring you in on this. What's the big deal? Look, I mean, people have views.
No, and that is why, no, as I said, it is befitting that this lady has got the Indira Gandhi Prize. I would have been worried had they given the prize to someone who actually, deserved, who had worked a lot for human rights and who stood for freedom of speech, expression, or what may democracy. I would have been worried if that person had got Indira Gandhi Prize. This is entirely befitting. And just to add, when Pradeep, my good friend, mentioned Harsh Mandar, incidentally, when he was in the Sonia's cabinet or that council, whatever you may call it, kitchen cabinet, he was the one who wanted to promulgate the communal violence bill, talking of human rights. That would have made only the majority culpable in any communal riot, even if it was instigated by the Muslims.
Let me tell you one thing, viewers. You see, the Congress supports this business of award wapsi. They believe that it's great for people to return as a mark of protest their award if they disagree with the government. Now, viewers, it can go the other way also. If you've given an award to somebody that you don't think is deserving, even post facto, you can withdraw it and say, this person no longer reflects our point of view. Do you know, viewers, this same award was given to Muhammad Yunus? Muhammad Yunus, viewers, who is now the Congress should say. Yes, now.
Not Muni, but Munir.
Munir. No, so I would now say that, listen, this man has strayed so far from what he was when he got our award that we are now withdrawing it. And can you imagine the message you would send out to the international community? As the opposition, you're standing with your government, taking a position against Muhammad Yunus, the man who is today plotting, viewers, with Islamists to annex that same chicken neck area that Sharjeel Imam is aiming for. Because every guest who comes, Muhammad Yunus hands him the greater Bangladesh map. That's what I would have done. Instead of saying, this year we are not, in fact, giving an award, we are taking it back. And we are taking it from Muhammad Yunus. These people are compounding. Yes, very quickly, Doctor, I need to move on. Yeah.
Yeah, but that requires guts. If you know, King Charles has withdrawn all the royal titles from his own brother.
There you go.
Because he was involved in Epstein.
So, viewers, if kingship knows no kinship, then the Congress should know no alliances